So the value of Jude Bellingham has been revealed. Right, hello there everyone, welcome back to James Redmond TV and welcome to another Redmond Roundup, solely based on the one, the only Jude Bellingham. Now, I don't know how clickbaity I've made the title. He hasn't joined Liverpool, but he's very, like, been linked loads with Liverpool in recent time. Now, you have 5 seconds to guess his value, so 5, 4, 3, 1. Anyway, it's 130 million. 130 million for anyone is a lot of dough. But we're going to break down in this video if he would be worth that much money. Do I think it's worth it? I want to know if you think it's worth it. Get it down in the comments below. We're going to also assess things like age, long term, the present time, the money, our competitors, stuff like that. Because we are obviously not the only club linked with Jude Bellingham. So let me get that air out my face. Make sure you smash a like. Get your bums in your seats and let's get into today's Redmond's Roundup. So Jude is 19 years of age, for those who didn't know. He has 17 goals and 20 assists, which I think is a great return for a player of that age. I don't know Steven Gerrard's stats. I probably should have checked that before this video. I didn't ever really think he was a high volume goal scorer at a young age. He grew into that. He grew into the confident leader that he became. And I'm not saying they're the same players, but Jude Bellingham could follow a very similar trend. A lot of players get better with time. He's a really good passer. He's a great dribbler. The word that I love to describe Jude Bellingham with, or the words, is press resistance. I think he's somebody who can cope under pressure, which in the Premier League you really, really need nowadays. When you consider the big performances that he's put in games in like the Champions League as well, he's already showing those mini little hints of absolute superstar. Now, for absolute nerds who don't know about Jude Bellingham because they don't watch the Bundesliga and maybe they think it's a farmers league, why Jude Bellingham? Why is he being linked with the biggest clubs? It's not just because of the promotion, it is because of what he's done himself. English players don't really tend to make a huge name for themselves outside. I think it's become more prominent recently, but I still think it's a very difficult thing to do. And he went to Dortmund from about the age of 17. He was playing kind of regular first team football. Now you could argue he is their most important player now. I still think Marco Reus is the best player in the Dortmund team. Let me know who you think in the comments down below. Marco Reus is such a legend. He is a G on many different avenues. But Jude Bellingham, from an asset point of view, and from even just when you think about what he could bring in the future, not what he brings now. What he brings now is very, very good. And as far as Liverpool are concerned, it certainly improves our midfield. Imagine Thiago, Fabinho and Bellingham. The one thing I love in any midfield is balance. And that is the most balanced midfield that I can find. Move Harvey to the right as a backup right winger. Or if Salah's still out of form, play him as a starter. And then go and assemble that midfield three. I think it really works, people. I do, honestly. I think the way Jude would just be licensed to go forward. I think Thiago and Fabinho with their defensive game. People underrate Thiago's defensive game. Believe me, you'll be more than custy with those two midfielders and Jude Bellingham. And not to mention, we need a goal-scoring midfielder, and I think you will get more goals as time goes by. So who's linked with Jude Bellingham? So you've got Real Madrid and Manchester United, who are Liverpool's biggest competitors. The downside to it being those two teams specifically is that financially they have just got a lot more money than what we do, because we're skins. And the follow-up question is we cannot, in no way, shape or form as Liverpool fans, start contemplating about thinking Jude Bellingham would choose us over Manchester United if we continue the form that we've been in recently. Now, that's not something to be overly concerned about, because I think we are going to improve. I think we're going to become much better at football over the short period of time. I don't know if it's going to be back to title contenders. I keep getting hairs in my face. Oh, go away. Anyway, so I've still got it. Why haven't I don't even think I got it from the start of the video, David. Look at the size of that. Can you see that? That's an absolute joke. Oh, that's a monstrosity. Oh, that should be illegal. And when a club has a financial advantage in itself, that's already a massive, massive advantage. So you can question Jude's ambitions and what he wants to achieve in football, but if Liverpool aren't showing that ambition in the all-round team that we're going to be winning trophies in the short term, there is no reason whatsoever why he's going to choose us. And if Man United, even though it hasn't worked out for them over the seasons, if they start showing a sign of a project, he definitely could choose them. But I don't think we have to worry exponentially about Real Madrid, only because they've got Valverde, they've got Tuchemani, they've got Camavinga, players who are excelling right here and right now. And not to mention, they've still got Modric, who's probably going to be sick till he's about 40. And then you've got Toni Kroos, they've just sold Casemiro, so that's already one big player out. But I feel like Jude Bellingham to Real Madrid can just happen any time, so I just don't think it's going to happen now. But Real Madrid fans, if there's any watching, I know you like to laugh at me a lot because you beat me in 2 Champions League finals. Fair dues, sir, fair dues. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think Jude improves your team right now? I just don't think it makes sense to go out and spend 130 million on, even though he's 19, 130 million on a player who in 5-6 years time, when he's heading into his prime, you could maybe get him for a similar price, if not cheaper. Maybe. Just say if he's got a year left on his contract or something along those lines. I really do believe there is a component and an element to Real Madrid possibly wanting Jude Bellingham, but not right now. So that's the way I think of it there. So I think Man United are probably maybe going to be our strongest competitors, but again, I'm not too sure. Maybe this is a free road and a free hit for Liverpool, but I would be very surprised if a player of that asset and that value and that talent and that potential to be having one team in the world of football after his signature. I really do believe that would be a difficult thing to process. Now, the ultimate question that I feel like that we should all ask in this situation is he worth the dough? And from a financial standpoint, let's just look at it logistically. So a lot of the players that you go and buy, especially young players, are for the future, whereas Jude Bellingham is someone who can come into our team and sort us out in the present. In the future, he would also be a massive asset to our football club in a sense that he would be worth more, he will most likely be a better player. And just when you think and talk and discuss about the risk factor, let's go with dialogue. The risk factor in this situation, bear in mind, Liverpool have not been a team to take huge risks. I think Núñez is a huge risk for sure, but I think Jude Bellingham is someone who is a safe risk. Someone that if it goes wrong, what's the worst that's going to happen? You move on to the next big fish. Liverpool will be fine if they spend 100 million on a player and it doesn't work out. It slows the process and it affects future transfer windows in the short term, but in the long term, you will always find that new superstar replacement. And that's the worst that if it goes wrong with Jude Bellingham. But when you weigh it up with the likelihood of him being a world-class player, why would you want to take the risk of him going anywhere else? Especially in the short term. Again, Real Madrid, Barcelona, they can get him when he's 25, 26. Right now, let him go to the Premier League. And I think that's a huge factor. I think if you're Jude Bellingham, why would you not want to come to the Premier League? And why would you not want to come to the Premier League in your prime years? And maybe right now could be Jude's prime years. You don't know if he's going to get injuries and you don't know if he's going to be able to keep up the same progression and projection that he's been showing recently. So that's why I've just have to take into consideration, I do think the next club that Jude goes to is a Premier League club. I don't think he signs any sort of extension with Borussia Dortmund. I don't think he goes to Real Madrid, and I'm very unsure about the Manchester United transfer. All that culminated into one. Also, to add on the fact Liverpool haven't really spent much money in recent seasons, I think this could maybe, weirdly enough, from Mr. Negative himself, could be leading to a Jude Bellingham to Liverpool transfer. Am I ludicrous for thinking that? Not because FSG typically spend 130 million on one player, but because we've done so well at balancing the books over the seasons. For those who are deluded enough to believe FSG don't have the money, I am sorry, but that is ludicrous. But we have been selling big assets for years. We've let a lot of players off the wage bill. Jude Bellingham just makes sense, and not from an emotional standpoint, but it makes sense from a standpoint of everything that has led towards this situation to the other clubs who are linked with Jude Bellingham. And I also believe in terms of the culture that Liverpool are currently trying to build with players like Trent, Curtis, Harvey Elliott, Fabio Carvalho, a lot of young ballers who have came from the roots of the English grounds. Jude Bellingham is another one of those. He's another northern player who would settle right into the squad. Is Birmingham in the north? I swear it is. Let me know, is Birmingham in the north? That's probably give me a brain fart. And the last thing I want to say before I leave it to you in the comments down below, I'm really intrigued to see if Jude Bellingham does sign, because do you know if he does sign, I think the way he articulates himself in interviews is something that is really, honestly admirable. You don't really see many footballers try and work on their communication and being able to execute certain points to the fans. And that's why I think a lot of fans can misunderstand footballers from a standpoint of, oh, he's being arrogant or he's being cocky, when really they're just believing in their own abilities. Or if it's going the other way and they're in bad form and they're not really condoning that, maybe if they had a way to word it, people would understand it more. I think Jude Bellingham is perfect for that. It's why I actually think, kind of like Steven Gerrard, he'll be good at interviews and he'll be able to handle big losses and performances that wasn't good enough, and he'll be very transparent and very open. I think it's very hard to shut someone like Bellingham with his star power to a level of just, you've got to read off a sheet, or you can only say these things and you can't say these things. I think Jude's just got a bit too much pull, let's say. And if Liverpool signed Jude Bellingham, it's a risk that I would admire regardless if it went right or wrong, because it's a risk that's worth taking. It's either you don't buy him and he goes somewhere else and be his boss, or you get him and he's a flop, or you might just have one of the greatest midfielders that have ever played for your football club. So it's one that I think we should do, and weirdly enough, it's one that I think really could happen, people. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. I really appreciate everyone who clicked on this video. I love every single one of you. A little bit of breaking news. I was going to do a full video on it, but I'm leaving my full-time job soon. For those who don't know, I've been working in a charity and I'm leaving there, and it's dead sad because I love the people there and I love the cause, and I really enjoy the communication side of things to the job and meeting really lovely people and just building good connections, and it just really gives me some good endorphins. I don't know if that's the right word, but just happy feelings. I think it's good to get outside and stuff, but I really miss posting on YouTube every day. Quick background story: 2 years ago I was a full-time YouTuber, and then a year after being a full-time YouTuber, I decided to go back to the charity that I work for, because I worked for them briefly before COVID hit. And then now I've just felt I've been there for like 10 months, 11 months. I've got loads of sign-ups. I've got loads of people to get on board with a wonderful cause. And all the people that I've met there, just absolutely great people. And I'm doing my last week next week. So also shout out to my manager, Ben. I don't know if he's watching this, but he watches my videos and he really supports what I do, and he's done a lot for me. So I really appreciate the time that I spent there. But I'm really excited to be coming back to YouTube full time. It's just well better sitting in front of a camera and doing videos than knocking on doors in the pouring rain. But yeah, that's just a quick piece of breaking news. I was going to do a video on it, but you can just find out now. Get it in the comments down below about Jude Bellingham. I really want to know your thoughts. Also, comments improve the algorithm. So if you have nothing to say, literally just put Redmond is a Ming, and that will do the world of wonders. Shout out to the haters, because whether you like or dislike a video and comment, it improves the algorithm, so feel free. Plus, I've got a heart of steel, mate. I can take things really well. I can take what I can give. I like to give banter. I feel like I can take banter. I'm also going to try and do more of these style of Redmond roundups. I'm going to try and do more live streams as well. And I think this one's went really, really well. It was a bit of a late night one, but I really enjoyed it, and I hope you did too. Anyway, love every single one of yous, and James Redmond TV is back, and back for good, yeah? Peace out.